Hello YouTubers, and today I'll be reviewing the B&M exclusive, simply called Radio Controlled Dalek. Yeah, there's no bronze Radio Controlled Dalek, no this Radio Controlled Dalek, no, it's simply called Radio Controlled Dalek. Now this is available exclusively at B&M's for $49.99. And they've just started coming in stores. Don't worry if you can't find them in your local store at the minute. I had to actually try 9 different B&M stores before I finally found one that does have it in. And so yeah, basically, let's just take a look at the detail of the thing. I'll just turn it off just so I don't waste the batteries while I'm doing this, because this thing does eat up the batteries quite easily. So you can see here, it does use the same moulding as the original 2005 Character Options Bronze Dalek release. However, obviously there are subtle changes, and I'll go through them as we go along. So we've got the eye, and just to note, the proportions of this Dalek are off because of it, because back in 2005, Character Options didn't actually have a Dalek to actually measure, so they just had to go off the pictures that they were given, so the scaling and the proportions are slightly off. However, it's not too distracting. I mean, some parts are particularly larger or shorter than they should be, but the eye is a pretty good proportion, and that, and you can see you've got the clearness, and actually very, very clear on this one. I don't know if it's just because this one is brand new and that, but also, just to note, this has the original ID that the original 2005 release had, so that is nice, because the Asylum Dalek had different ID, and so did all the others. It's got a bit of muck on here. But if we take a look at the back, you can see, if I just get a 5-inch one, we don't have the little indents on the back. Again, this is because it's using an existing sculpt that character made back in 2005. But you can see here, we do have all the mesh and all the little bolts detailed, and that around the side there, which is all really, really nice, and all little panels on the front there are present and correct. And on the dome lights, you can even see little struts of individual sections, and they painted the outside of them silver. You can actually see, though, the LEDs inside that actually light up the dome lights. If we just go down a bit, you can see we've got the midsection here. Just focus in. And you can see here we've got all the paneling around the side and that, and we've got all the nuts and bolts, which is present and correct, and all the rivets and grooves. And here is the plunger, which is out of scale, really. It's a bit too wide at the end, and also a little bit short. Again, with the gun, which is a bit overly sized, it should be a bit more slimmer and streamlined, but it doesn't look too bad. And then if we finally take a look at the base, we've got all the hemispheres, and this is where the cheaper build quality of this thing comes apparent. I mean, look at quality control, everyone. There was another hemisphere. There's one here, another one here. Yeah, some of these hemispheres are particularly loose, and that, so obviously this does, and also it just feels a bit cheaper compared to previous releases. The plastic that it's made of does feel bit cheaper and less solid. We've got the base, which is completely black, though we do have the bolts sculpted in, which is all nice. And on the base we've got the wheels. Turning to articulation, well, the head has a little mechanism that makes it turn, and that makes the eye stroke go up when it moves, so you shouldn't move that by yourself, because you may break the mechanism. But the plunger is on a ball joint, the gun is on a ball joint, and you can swivel the midsection, and that's basically it for articulation that you can articulate yourself. Take a look at the remote here. It's basically the same as the previous ones. However, the sides have it's all been moulded in one colour. Before, this was painted black, and also they've removed the 2005.2 logo on this remote, finally. But they haven't replaced it with anything, so they just left it blanks. So there you go. But you can see here we've got a list of all the phrases that the Dalek says. And you know what? While we're here, why don't we turn it on and go through it?
Seek, locate, annihilate. Seek, locate, destroy. You will obey the Daleks. Obey, obey. What? Or you will be exterminated. You are an enemy of the Daleks. We are the supreme beings. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. Exterminate.
And it's tank control, so the left toggle controls the left wheel and the right toggle controls the right wheel. And you can see here that the eye moves up and around as you move the Dalek around. So that's all nice, well and good. We'll just see that a bit in action. You can see there. Now, I did notice mine tends to slightly creak slightly when it moves around. It's not doing it now, but when I put it on carpet, it did seem to creak a bit. None of my other Daleks have ever creaked, not like that. I've had a few that have squeaked a bit, though they're over a decade old, some of them. I'm talking about Product Enterprise ones here. So, you know, and you can hear that creaking of the plastic. So it definitely does feel like a cheaper product. But while I'm here, why don't we do a comparison, eh? Okay, it's a bit difficult to get them both in at the same time, but you can see here, this is the Asylum Dalek on the right, and the new re-released one on the left. So basically, what this is the Asylum Dalek, however, with the weathering removed from it. You know, there's no weathering on this at all, so it's pretty much one of the Moffat Daleks. I think Dalek 6368 something. I forget the name. Basically, if you go on their website, you can see a load of detail about Dalek props. But basically, when they made a whole batch new Dalek props for Asylum of the Daleks, they didn't have time to weather them, give them the weathering. So that's why they look more like this. It is nice, and the colouring is much better than, say, on the original 2005 release. Alright, so here's one of the 2005 releases that I have, and you can see this is more of a gold colour, more of the original Dalek scene in Dalek. Yeah, I've got two of them, but this is a sealed up one. But you can see how much more gold it is compared to the re-release. Alright, so now we come to the big question. Should you buy this Dalek? The answer depends quite a lot. If you have the original 2005 release, or you have the Asylum Dalek, then no, not really. Not at this £50 price tag. There is pretty much no reason to buy this over those, because you're not getting anything new. And that the sound chip does come from the Asylum Dalek, which is a tweaked sound chip. It's basically slightly lower pitch than the original one, but other than that, not really. If you don't have a 12-inch bronze Dalek, then yeah, it is pretty good for the £50. Now a lot of people are saying, well, why don't you can just go on eBay and maybe get a bronze Dalek from yesteryear for a cheaper price, and yes, you probably could. However, you'd also have to pay the postage, which is normally around £10 or £15. So, because of how big they are. So, it's up to you. I really like this. Maybe wait to see if there's a price drop. Maybe there will be, maybe there not be. It depends how many of these they sell. But anyway, thank you for watching this review. I'll see you in the next one, and...